Hello everyone! Do you like stories about abandoned buildings and other eerie things that give you the chills and make you immediately grab the camera to shoot your own film about the doomsday? Or at least arrange some cool photo sets? Well, especially for you, there are a lot of cool locations out there, and today we'll tell you about some of them. So, these are 10 amazing abandoned places you didn't know about. Let's get it on. Kangbashi City in China. Imagine a modern huge city with tall buildings, malls, offices, highways, and now imagine there's no one, not a single person. Got it? So, it's actually not a pretty picture for a post-apocalypse movie, but a landscape of a modern Chinese town. People call Kangbashi a ghost town for a reason. It was designed for over 1 million people, but the only person you can meet there is probably a cleaner or something. Well, we're probably exaggerating, but look for yourself. The city not only gets cleaned, but all the traffic lights work. The museums and libraries are closed, although they're ready for use. Bus stops have up-to-date publicity, and there are even buses there passing by every now and then. Absolutely empty buses. Kind of creepy, don't you think? There are also lots of bicycles that have never been ridden, and the attractions at the amusement park are ready to bring joy at any moment. But it doesn't sound as weird as heated but not finished apartments. However, in some places you can see parked cars. Does it mean the city isn't totally abandoned? Turns out everything changes at night. Some windows light up. Clients appear at cafes and cars start going on the streets. You've probably started thinking all these people are actually terrible vampires, and the government sent them away to Kangbashi so that these bloodsuckers don't bite everyone around. But the truth is much simpler. There are actually people in the city, although it's only about 30,000, and all of them live in different neighborhoods, while other parts of the city stay empty. The authors of the project claim people keep moving into the city, but much slower than they expected. Anyway, that didn't stop them from creating new houses, this time on the other shore. Dugo radar in Chernobyl. No, it's not from the movie Divergent, but a quite real building in Chernobyl. This arch, was built as a special anti-ballistic missile early warning network. Yes, it was a very cool, powerful, and obviously absolutely secret object, one of at least 3 secret objects in the Soviet Union. Unfortunately, after the nuclear incident in Chernobyl, Dugo was first put on hold and then closed. Now only the craziest daredevils can see it, if they decide to go into the zone of exclusion. Orpheum Theatre. People say art never dies, and it's hard to argue with them. Unfortunately, theatres and museums are not that resilient, and they decay really quickly if nobody takes care of them properly. This is exactly what happened to the American theatre Orpheus, opened in 1912. Originally, it was closed for humble people. Only rich people could afford to see some show at the Orpheus, and the tickets were sold out months before them. In spite of this, the theatre had a lot of debts, which led to it closing in 1959. The government didn't even have money for renovation. In 1962, the ancient theatre was remodeled into a storage for keeping tobacco, and today a supermarket occupies one part of the historic building. The rest of it is empty, and anyone can get in if they want to, although the experienced ones say it's quite eerie to walk through the empty hallways. Ghost Town Kolmanskop. The dead city of Kolmanskop appeared back in 1908 after a humble worker found a shiny stone under his feet and picked it up. It started a crazy diamond fever, so soon there were enough people in this Namibian region to build a whole town. In a few years, big solid houses, a school, a bakery, a factory even appeared there. They even had their own stadium, so you could tell people planned to stay in Kolmanskop for several generations. But it soon turned out there weren't as many diamonds as everyone thought there would be. Besides, it was pretty difficult to live in the middle of a desert, since there was no water but lots of sandstorms. Eventually, people left the town, which started sinking into the sand. Nevertheless, in the last decades, Namibians have restored several buildings. They maintain the museum town in good condition and even arrange tours. Leah Sickerhouse Hospital. If you've seen the second season of American Horror Story or Shutter Island, or some other movie shot in a mental hospital, you know these places are always creepy. But while a terrible hospital created by a screenwriter is okay, a real one is completely different, even if it has been abandoned for years. In a small Norwegian town, Leah, there's a big mental hospital, Leah 6, and 4 of its buildings were abandoned back in 1985 for unknown reasons. In the 20th century, there were experiments conducted on patients with the use of different psychoactive drugs. Also, doctors there practiced cure by electrocution and other unpleasant and scary procedures. Some fans of creepy stories tell that about 2,500 people underwent a lobotomy in that hospital. Inside the abandoned buildings, there's medical equipment, beds, journals, and even patients' personal belongings. But there's nothing else, and the building just keeps decaying there. Oddly enough, the other 8 pavilions are perfectly fine. They work and receive patients. But these 4, maybe doctors are just afraid of working there. What do you think? Cyprus Hotel. Some people believe ghosts live here and appear at night, while others say they hear female voices calling for help near this hotel. So there is a bunch of stories told by the locals, and each of them could become a plot for a horror movie. Once upon a time, Berengaria was the best luxury hotel in Cyprus, and even called royal. Everything was going great until one day the owner of the hotel got sick. According to the legend, in his will he told his 3 sons to divide everything equally, but as it usually happens in fairy tales, they couldn't agree, so they got sick of arguing and forgot the Berengaria. Mall. In most post-apocalyptic movies, on the empty streets of New York or Tokyo, Mother Nature begins to recover her territories. There's grass and trees everywhere. Wild animals are running along abandoned highways. But if you go downstairs in the New World Mall in Bangkok, you'll find, no, not leftovers of the last sale, and not even wild cat gangs. You'll see fish, but not just any fish. You'll see thousands and thousands of golden koi in the secret underground aquarium. Once the building was a 4-story shopping center, which almost completely burnt down in 1999 for some unknown reason. Since then, the building remains abandoned. It doesn't have a roof, and the basement is year-round flooded with water, in which one of the local residents began to grow fish, and eventually filled the entire area of 600 square yards. Plague Island. This territory is often called one of the creepiest places on our planet. Located in the north of beautiful Italy, the island of Poveglia consists of 2 parts, which are connected by a bridge. Unfortunately, or fortunately, people haven't come here for many years, all because of the mysterious history of this island. The first mention of it dates back to the 5th century of our era, but for a long time the territory remained practically empty. They were mostly artillery fortifications, military and sailors, but in 1777 the island began to bring people suffering from a terrible disease, the plague. As you probably guessed, they couldn't leave anymore. According to some reports, during the epidemic, about 160,000 people died here. It had seemed that the problems of Poveglia had to end there, but after some time, someone remembered about the island and opened a psychiatric hospital there. Yes, not the most successful option to get rid of the bad name. As a result, in 1968, the hospital was completely abandoned, like the island itself, which has not been visited since. Japanese Hotel. Luxurious carpets, majestic chandeliers, chic bedrooms, lacquered grand piano, and much more have been waiting for visitors of this abandoned Japanese hotel, which is located on the volcanic island of Hachijojima. You should know that strangers are not allowed to enter here, so this place has remained as luxurious as new for 13 years. Beautiful outside and no less amazing inside, the hotel towers over the coastline and is visible even from a ship. The building is buried in a greenery that has grown over several years, and right in front of the main entrance, hiding in the grass, there's an empty pool and a beautiful sculpture remaining about the past. By the way, the official reason why the hotel has ceased to function is pretty trivial. The complex was closed in 2005 due to low profitability, but the Japanese culture is built on the belief in the existence of spirits and ghosts. Therefore, the locals told their story, according to which the tourists of this hotel were seeing ghosts so often that they began to complain about it constantly, after which the work of the complex quickly declined. Airplane on Bali. We have a feeling that in Bali, instead of garden gnomes, they use airplanes. Well, usual passenger airplanes. This impressive exhibit is located near the Pandawa beach, and no one knows exactly where it came from. But there is information that one of the local entrepreneurs brought this giant Boeing 737 in order to open a restaurant in it. However, the owner did not have enough money. Apparently, he spent everything to transport the vehicle, and now the abandoned plane attracts tourists from all over the world. By the way, for all who dream to walk on the wing of the Iron Bird without risking their own lives, there is an amazing opportunity to make their dreams come true. You only need to get to Bali first. Our world keeps amazing us. Theatres, hotels, and even whole cities sometimes remain empty for a long time. And if you know any interesting abandoned places, then be sure to tell us about it in the comments, and give us a couple of likes. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.